Hey everybody, welcome to this video. Today I really want to go through the marketing split and the sales contribution of our six-figure a month ecom business. So last month we did 300K in monthly revenue, and that was with Easter in between, a very overindulgent sort of period of time. So our sales historically dropped during that period of time. We've seen a nice little increase now post Easter, and May should be quite a big month for us. But the question I get a lot, particularly with our clients and our consulting clients, is where do your sales come from and what does that split look like? So that's what I'd really like to go through today, and hopefully you'll find it valuable. Just before I jump into it, if you're serious about growing your business, we now help ecom businesses scale their monthly revenues in the form of a consultancy program. So if you want to have a chat, if you're serious about scaling, jump a link below, book a time to chat. Otherwise, jump in the Facebook group for some free information if you like. So let's jump straight into it. So I'm going to give you our exact breakdown of sales and revenue from each source that we use to drive our traffic and our conversions. I firstly want to, I guess, preface this by saying that we're in an age right now where tracking is certainly it's always one of the most important things, understanding where your information is coming from and where your traffic's coming from, where your customers are coming from. But we're in a period of time now where it's actually becoming really difficult. We know with changes around Apple changing their tracking of people that things like Facebook and TikTok and Pinterest and all these platforms are losing visibility of their tracking sources, and particularly with Facebook and Instagram ads over the last 12 months, that's been heavily felt in the industry. And so the really challenging thing is that 1 + 1 doesn't necessarily equal 2. And so what that means is Facebook ads, what's being reported in the business manager, plus what the contribution it's actually making doesn't actually add up to what's being reported in Shopify or your Google Analytics. Those numbers generally, depending on the platform, are different, and sometimes vastly different. So what we really need to do, and what we really need to understand, and what you need to understand as a business owner, is just have an allowance for these sorts of things. You can't literally put things in boxes and say that 1 + 1 = 2 each month when you're assessing where your sales come from. That's really the first thing. You need to understand in your own mind and in a holistic mind where everything's coming from, what buttons to kind of press, or at least have enough confidence in one platform over the other to be able to press harder on that to drive sales. Because often what we see, and we've seen this before in our business, is you can really tell the difference of the impact of something when you remove it. And so when you remove a marketing source or a traffic source, how does that impact holistically on the business? So for example, if we were to remove our Facebook ads, which currently contribute about 30% of sales and revenue to our business, if we were to remove that, we would probably see an impact of anywhere between 30 to 50% on our actual sales. And so what that says is that it's not just physically contributing to that 30%, it's actually this flow-on effect. And that comes back to, I guess, the marketing formula, in old school metrics, about 7 touch points on somebody until they actually take an action. In the social media, in the digital world right now, it's probably, anywhere between 10 to 20 touch points. And so the way that social media platforms and Google ads work in terms of their tracking mechanisms is using attribution windows, which means that over that period of time, if somebody took an action or purchased, that is a tick to that form of advertising. So Facebook ads, for an example, they use a 7-day attribution window now. And if somebody clicked on an ad on day 1, forgot about it, went about their day, went about their week, and on day 7, they actually organically searched you and purchased, that attribution window is still relevant. So Facebook ads gets a tick. The challenge is when you look at Shopify or Google Analytics, that won't contribute it to the Facebook ad, that will contribute it to an organic or direct search. And so that's where the discrepancy is in the 1 + 1 = 2, doesn't equal 2 scenario, is that you just need to have a real understanding of where these people are coming from, because Facebook and Google will take what's called a first touch, meaning if it's within that attribution window, if they touched it at some point in time, from the first time they touched it, that's going to be attributed. And then, rightly, Shopify and Google Analytics will take the last touch, because if it attributed everything back, every touch point that someone's been on it, it'll just completely throw the numbers out. And so what we've really commonly seen, and particularly in our clients' accounts, is really high percentages of direct search and organic searches of their business where they ultimately purchase. But if you put the consumer's mind in your own mind, you put the consumer's hat on and think logically, and this is for me personally as well, if I see something I like via an ad, particularly on social media, I'm not one to actually go and purchase straight through an ad ever, really. What I'll do is I'll basically screenshot it, save it. If I'm really interested, then I'll go maybe do some research, and then I'll go directly to their website and purchase from there. And so you can see how that customer journey translates into the data that you're seeing on your end. So what I'm basically saying is that don't necessarily discount the lower numbers than what you want to see or expect to see in Shopify and Google Analytics, but piece together the logic of how that information is compiled and how you can use it to your advantage, and have an understanding of that holistic approach, right? So now what we're currently doing is taking on the holistic approach on a monthly basis around total ad spend on all platforms and marketing efforts, and how that's contributed to total revenue. So it's more of a gross figure that we're actually looking at on both ends. And if that ends up profitable, then we're happy. We keep pursuing that. And of course, we look at things on micro levels as well. That's definitely the case. But we did understand how much it actually dropped off with these changing in mechanisms and platforms. So hopefully that just gives you a real bit of an idea of what to look for, how to look for it, and what to do with discrepancies. You really just need to understand how that's all working together. Another really quick example here is that from one week to the next, say you had an average week in Facebook ads, that's just what directly reported in Business Manager. And then the following week, nothing actually changed with your ads. You use the same budget, you're targeting the same audiences, got the same ads running, but there just so happens that an influencer posts, okay, and generates a whole heap of sales on your from your store. What you will see, and what we've seen so many times before, is that the next week, your Facebook ad attribution will skyrocket. And so whilst nothing changed from one week to the next with your ads, it was the attribution, meaning that people were seeing your ads and engaging with the ads before the influencer actually posted. But it was that specific activity, meaning the influencer posted, that reaffirmed in their mind that they should purchase your product. So they had several touch points before, but it was that pure act that tipped them over the line to go and purchase. And so therefore, yeah, your Facebook ads should be credited to that sale. Maybe not super directly like that, but it means that they were touched at one point or the other. And so, you can basically do your head in trying to say, well, what should I remove? What's absolutely necessary? Because you don't actually know. If they didn't see it on Facebook, would they have bought it because the influencer said? Maybe, maybe not. Would they have gone directly to your site if they hadn't seen you on Google or Facebook? Maybe, maybe not. So really get a good understanding about this. But anyway, enough of the kind of theory side of things. I really want to show you some numbers into our last 30 days. As I mentioned, we've done about pretty much bang on 300 now for the last 30 days. And as I say, we had Easter in there. And so these are the real three categories that we monitor and we watch and we categorize. So we've got organic content, organic marketing efforts. We've got our Google ads, and we've got our social media marketing. Okay. And so up the top here, we've basically got our reported values and our actual values in terms of our experience, what we understand to be actual in our understanding of what we've removed and added and manipulated in the past. Okay. And so the organic side of things, this takes into consideration several factors. One is SEO. Now, this is something we've been doing right from the beginning of our business. And if you're not doing SEO, do it. Honestly, do it. You need to be able to rank organically and build get really favorable with Google. Now, I know it's an expense to the business, but over time, here we are 10 years on, it has paid massive dividends. Get in the good books with Google. So SEO, that also takes into consideration our organic activity around Facebook, Instagram. You know, at the moment we're doing Pinterest and TikTok as well, playing around with those platforms, just basically repurposing content for those platforms to bring new people into the mix. So that's organic stuff. It also takes into consideration influencer activity and collaborations. You know, we do collaborations with photographers and nutritionists and whatnot to be able to share content and share audiences as well. So anything organically, obviously that falls under that umbrella. We also pop email marketing under that. Now that could probably be a separate list or a separate segment. But to be really honest with you, you know, we need to do more work on the email side. We don't have massive overflows and campaigns running on a monthly basis. We just really, you know, fly under the radar in that sense. Organic also, you know, takes into consideration like some repeat customers as well. All right. And then from Google Ads, obviously self-explanatory, Google Ads, and social media, predominantly Facebook and Instagram. And also we've done a little bit with TikTok in terms of paid advertising, and also a little bit with Pinterest. But to be honest with you, haven't felt necessary. What we understand from those platforms and our experience so far is that Pinterest and TikTok are a very first touch, which do, you know, flow through hopefully over time, but we haven't pursued it or done it long enough to really understand the gains there. Additionally, our kind of market hasn't responded as such so well to those platforms. But anyway, for the sake of this, we'll just include Facebook and Instagram. And so what we see in Google Analytics and also Shopify is our reported numbers. Organic is somewhere between 50 to 60%, which is, as I said in the beginning, like super high. And this also includes like direct, right? So directly searching us in Google or directly from a URL. So 50 to 60%. Google is around 20 to 30. I'll try and match up my percentages. And then social is always reported to be really low. Okay. And so what this says to us is that, oh, you know, organic's working. You know, a person with not much experience might say organic's working and direct's working really well. Why are we paying these mediums for, you know, ads, thousands of dollars a month, if that's not where our sales are coming from? Let's just cut this out, you know, the old 80-20. But as the example I used before, it's actually these numbers that are propping up these ones. As sure, you remove these and the percentages go up, but our actual overall sales and revenue would certainly decline if we remove these or minimize them or reduce them. So that's what actually gets reported. And so it can really sort of cloud your judgment about the effectiveness of your marketing efforts across the board if you don't have an understanding of this, because our figures, honestly, are more like this: 33, 33, 33. That's how we understand our figures to be. And that means that we need to emphasize and optimize each platform as best as possible to get the most out of the other one. Because as I say, one directly impacts on the other. If they're seeing us on social media for the first time on Facebook, they're going to organically search us. And when they organically search us, they're going to see a Google ad and probably click on that. And then they're going to come back around, they're going to chat to their friend or their partner who wants to do a juice cleanse, and they're going to search us organically or directly. Okay, because the way we know this is we've basically mucked around or rather experimented with removing and reducing certain elements, even from the organic side. You know, we reduce our activity with influencers 1 month and all our sales dip down. We enhance them the next month and all our numbers go up. Google ads returns go up, Facebook ads returns go up. Our SEO ranks higher. And so what I'm trying to get at here is that these are obviously specific to our numbers, of course, but I dare say from the experience with our clients and what we see in the marketplace, the numbers that you're seeing in your Shopify and Google Analytics accounts are generally not the whole picture. It's not the bigger picture. It's the end result of where people have eventually purchased from. Okay, so I guess the point of this video is to really understand from our experience and our perspective of real numbers that we've got in our business right now, that it is really a joint effort in all our marketing efforts that are contributing. And so I dare say that that's the same in your business. And if you want to continue to grow your business, do not ignore the avenues that you've actually got. It's about leveraging off this client over here, this customer over here, this customer over here, and creating a omnipresence around the place. So suddenly everybody's seeing you everywhere. And that's the feedback we get time and time again. I saw a Facebook ad of yours. I saw a Google ad of yours. And then I saw an influencer post about you. You guys are everywhere. So I had to go and purchase. And that's the exact process we actually want. You know, we want to create such hype and positivity around what we do, and you know, social proofing of what we do. That drives our business forwards. And with a repeat customer rate, you know, of around you know, anywhere between 40 and 60% on a monthly basis, that means that we're doing a good job with our product. So we've just got to get it in more people's hands. And so that number will ebb and flow a touch, but as long as our gross numbers are going up, then that will continue to be a really big portion of our business. And I might do another video on you know, repeat customer rates and how to really bolster that up as well. But look, I really hope that helps, even just from understanding, you know, where your business is at contribution wise, but in a you know, a broader sense, really understanding that the numbers within your accounts are going to be different from the other advertising accounts and all that sort of thing. And not to, I guess, get so worked up or in your own head about, you know, splitting each dollar out to get the desirable, the maximum contribution. Of course, you're optimizing each platform. You're always trying to improve, but having a holistic understanding that nothing is individual in its own effort. That's the most important thing. And so every marketing effort that you actually are doing is important and is contributing to the end result. So look, really hope that helps. If you've got any questions, as always, feel free to reach out, leave some comments. But look forward to catching you in the next video. Thanks.